Tom the Comic Book Nerd here, and I'm back again. I've been rolling these videos out and trying to get back into the swing of things. As some people on my channel know, I work in education, and it's been a crazy time this year, even before all the COVID stuff, just been really manic. So the summer's coming up, summertime equals fun time, more time to dedicate to these videos, and I wanted to carry on the thing that we were doing recently, looking at like really fun, kind of goofy off-the-wall comics. And we've looked a lot and talked a lot about the Hanna-Barbera and the Looney Tunes comics and how wacky they are. So today I wanted to change gear and I wanted to talk about the Scooby Doo run that you may or may not be able to see due to glare. I'll put some cover art up here and here just so that you can see if there is glare. I mainly want to go over it because it's not like the other Hanna-Barbera cartoons in the fact that this one, it ain't for kids. I would advise that if you're going to pick this up for somebody, you read it first. Because this ain't the normal Mystery Inc. gang. This ain't your run-of-the-mill Scooby Doo running into Shaggy's arms, them trying to shovel themselves into it, shovel a giant sandwich into their mouths. This is a completely different ball game. I will include that clip of Shaggy trying to disembowel his jaw with the sandwich, because that's just one of my favourite things in cartoons ever.
Me a super Shaggy sandwich. Like wow, my favourite. A double, triple-decker sardine and marshmallow fudge sandwich. Open the mouth, between the gums. Look out, stomach, here it comes.
But this takes a very DC real-world approach. It takes the characters and it makes them actually be relatable in the real-world context. I mean, you've got Scooby who acts a lot more dog-like, growls, barks, runs after things. You know, still can talk, sort of, like in the cartoons, but it's explained in a way because in the first issue. He's basically a lab dog, and Velma is a scientist, and it ties all these things in. One thing to note is this isn't like 10 years since the Mystery Inc. gang got together. This is like a prequel, you know, who they were before. It takes, you know, Daphne is a journalist with a dying TV show, Velma is a scientist, Shaggy quite comically is a dog trainer. Scooby Doo is a genetically altered super dog, or smart dog as they call it in the comic. And it's really not as tongue-in-cheek as you would expect. You know, it grapples with some really strong world issues. The main storyline is that Velma and her team made these nanites and they turned people into monsters. I mean, I know that sounds really goofy, but the way they do it is really visceral. There's a part where Scooby jumps on this monster to try and like get away from, and the monster's like trying to get its teeth into Scooby. Yeah. So this isn't your kind of like raggy sort of comic. It's from the TV show. I don't know why you're laughing. It appeals much more to people that grew up with the Hanna-Barbera cartoons and are a lot older, like myself. And, you know, like a gritty comic or two. I mean, it's not quite Batman dangling someone over the rooftop, but it's definitely not something that I would get kids to read, because there's a lot of questionable panels and questionable themes running throughout. It is a really cool concept to have the team already be established people and come together through this kind of end of the world event that they need to try and stop. It's really interesting seeing these characters like this. I should have shown up some art by now. You'll see the drawing style of Shaggy is particularly cool. They've took him from, you know, this kind of slight skinny tall hippie with the long hair and turned him into kind of like a hipster with tattoos and a cool dude, I'll eat what I want attitude, and that seems like a natural progression for the character. And so this was published in 2016 and it feels very modern. The art feels modern, the panels feel modern, the writing feels modern, and I particularly enjoy the writing of this. I think this is where the strength is, you know, the colours from the artwork and the writing, because it really takes what we loved about Scooby Doo and grows it up for an audience like me, like the 27-year-old nerds that watched it on TV, that used to run home, put it on CITV at like 3-4 o'clock, sit and watch it, and the whole world just faded away. So, you know, there is that nostalgia there, but it's grown up enough that I feel like I'm reading a proper comic storyline. And I do have to say, as I said, this is 2016 and it's a series, so I have, and hopefully this is in the right order, issue number 1 here, and issue number 2 here. I say that because usually I'm pointing in all the wrong directions, so I'm trying to orientate which way. So I've got issue 1 here and issue 2, and I've also got issue 3 here. So I've got the first 3 issues in the run, so I've got issue 3 here as well. I'll put a box here for how many runs there were, because off the top of my head I don't know how long this actually ran for. And I will also include links at the bottom, you know, where you can get these, Amazon or Comixology. I really do think you should invest in these. As my current knowledge holds, these are not expensive. I've seen them in comic bins before, I've seen them in charity shops. They're quite widely available and not very expensive, and definitely worth adding to your collection, especially if, like me, you like to have all the weird comics like the Top Cat one. If you haven't seen that video, it's going to be here or here. I'm not going to point to a specific place because I always get it wrong, but it'll be up in the title cards on one of the corners. Thumbnail will probably be floating around. And I'll also link a playlist for all the goofy, silly comic books that I do, so you can go through and look at all them. So if you like me, comics should be fun. You know, there's definitely a time for them to be gritty and dark and be social commentary, but we should also embrace the silly humour of them. Anyone that's read a 50s, 60s, even a 40s comic knows that the medium was very slapstick. So why shy away from that? That's why a lot of us love comics. So I'm going to leave you with that thought. And in the future, as I discussed with the video I did with Ben, which was really cool, which is also going to be here, or here, I'm going to be looking at some stuff going away from the superhero things in the future. I'm going to be looking at things like Beano and Tintin. Comics is such a wide array of mediums, and I feel that I talk a lot about the superhero genre, but I have a massive love for comic strips and, you know, Dennis the Menace and everything that Beano has. I mean, even talking to people about Beano and Dennis the Menace, people always have a massive smile on their face, and that is the love I get from comics. So I want to share that with you guys. Maybe do a history of, and, you know, do a run. Maybe I'll even get some recent Beanos and compare it to some of the older Beanos. But that's me signing off for today. It's very hot in this room, so don't forget, if you enjoyed this, as always, subscribe. Tell me what kind of kooky comics that you like to collect. What do you like in your collection that maybe isn't talked about? Do you collect the Hanna-Barberas or the Looney Tunes? Do you have like a random copy you found in the bargain bin? Do you own every goofy comic out there? Let me know in the comments. I love talking to you guys, I love responding, and hopefully I'll see you again real soon. So bye for now, see you later.